Okay, welcome everyone, and let's see if this even works. It did work yesterday, and it does work today as well. Perfect. So I don't think I need the headphones anymore, which means we can get to today's topic, which is, well, I'm going to just continue doing what I was doing yesterday, which was basically trying to figure out how this whole Terminfo VM works. And last thing we did was we actually had this, like, this is a copy of Xterm colors, Xterm 256 colors config, rather Terminfo database, I should say. I've called it Gunveil's experiment, which is way too long, and I've added just like basically this like U1 user 1 feature, or capability actually, which yeah, like has some really basic program. And what we ended up last time doing is basically I was trying to figure out why does this VM, because this is a program for a VM, why does this VM not, well, it claims to support strings to some extent, but it doesn't seem to actually support them, but maybe it does. So what we have to do today, I think, is actually look in the source code. So that's one thing I want to do today, and depending on how that will go, the other thing I wanted to do today is start writing some kind of a compiler, because I don't want to be writing like this kind of code. It's not readable, and yeah, it's just like doesn't make sense. Now, the way it was compiled, I believe, was like just tick ASDF. Yeah, but I actually had to tell it where does it have to put it, otherwise, no, it would just like put it here, like to this G as for Gunveil, and then there's this Gunveil experiment, and this is that binary file which has the database including the given feature, and to run a given feature, like for example U0, which just outputs XY, you use tpat then U0. And it doesn't work. Does it actually require a parameter? No, I know it doesn't work because I need to define the term for it to Gunveil's experiment. Gunveil's, yeah, there we go. And it still doesn't work because I gave it a parameter and it doesn't accept any parameters. Apparently, it's really picky, this VM, when it comes to whether you supply a parameter or not. What does it do? But okay, whatever, it works. When there will be a Polish stream, hi, by the way, since some people are joining. So, a Polish stream, good question. Like, I will be doing some Polish streams as well. I will be focusing mostly on English ones, I guess. But from time to time, I'll be doing a Polish one as well. It really depends on the topic which I have and what do I want to discuss. So yeah, that's the answer. As in, I don't know. I'm surprised that I'm actually streaming second day in a row, so let's gradually go into more streams, including Polish ones. Cool. So what I think I have to do is, I think I have to download NKrzaQ. As you can see, like I have this like nice paged out 7 wallpaper now on my desktop. I just downloaded it basically. I really like it. I didn't have it on this computer. If you want to download it, just go to pagedout.institute, and it's like the Zine itself is here and the wallpaper is here. So yeah, you can just grab it. Anyway, what we have to download is NKrzaQ, basically. NKrzaQ source code. Could you tell me your Windows and Linux setup? So Windows and Linux setup, which I had in the streams you might remember from a couple of years ago, that's no longer actually a thing, as in I fully moved to Linux. Because, yeah, like, Windows 10 was going out of support. It was like still in a couple of years, but I was like, yeah, let's check this Windows 11 thing, and I checked it and I was, yeah, I'm switching to Linux. So now I fully switched to Linux. I have Windows still on one computer, and I need to get it on another computer as well. But I'm mostly using, almost everywhere, I'm using Linux now. Ubuntu to be more exact. So I'm just not using that setup anymore. What I know is that on Windows you can use WSL2, and when you're using WSL2, you can install an X server on your Windows, and then like basically hook one to the other. It is like pretty easily doable nowadays, so just like Google how to do it, how to use X11 or X server on WSL2 on Windows. And that's way easier than it was in the past. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to do git clone, I guess. Yeah, I think this looks good. So let's grab, I probably should have told it to not download everything, but whatever. Okay, and what I need to find is I need to find where is this VM implemented, which is going to be a little bit interesting. What do we even look for? I guess like we can look for P1, for example, but or maybe %P. Let's try %P and see what happens. %P. Okay, so there is like Terminfo src, blah blah blah, but what I guess what we care about is some .c file, so let's do .c. Okay. Here's the compiler, so that's something. Let's go to progs. What do we have here? We need tpat. Okay, tpat is what we are using, but maybe from there we can actually find where is the source code of the part which we need. So yeah, this is to access the capabilities, and I'm guessing it's going to be like a really simple program. Okay, exit code, tput command. Check aliases, whatever is reset. Why does it have like a special case for clear? Okay, what am I looking at? Is this like, wait, is this like a VM? No, it cannot be. It says numbers, strings, okay. Okay, that's funny. So numparm, is it defined here? That's one question. No, it's not defined here. I'm guessing it's going to be 10 anyway, because, or rather 9, because we have 9 parameters. Let's see how it's defined. It's not defined anywhere. Where am I? Oh, I'm in progs, maybe that's why it's not defined. Argo. Okay, yeah, it's as 9. So, okay. At least things like behave as they should. So, apparently for every parameter... Wow, why don't they like... Why isn't this indented by one more level? tparm type. From name. Where does it get the name from? Unknown terminal. That's the capability. Okay, that's... Why does it like... It's just a capability name, right? This is the string, I think, which shows when we do like tpat something, and it shows like, yeah, unknown terminal capability. Unknown terminal capability, and this with single quotes. Okay, so we are looking in the right place, I think. And then it gets a tparm type, and the param type is either numbers or others. Or other, actually. And if it's number string or number string... Okay, so what kind of parameters can be passed, whether it can be a string or a number, apparently depend on whatever this returns. Where is this implemented? And this is implemented in progs tparm type. Okay. So sable tparm type.c. Let's look for it. Okay, look look up the type of call we should make to tparm. This ignores actual Terminfo capability, but because it's not extendable, but makes this code portable to platforms where size of int is not size of char. Okay. Then it has like some PK, just a couple of things here. Okay, and what's so special about this stuff? Like, for example, pf key, man term info, and we look for pf key. Pf key, program function key 1 to type string 2. So that's like a macro key, right? Okay, so, okay, I'm guessing in that case you really need to operate on strings. So if we do pf key or pk, pf key, I guess, it will actually have to use strings, which is kind of funny. So, okay, in this case we are number string, and in this case we are number string string. So what I'm, you know, we just started looking at this code, right? But what I'm seeing here is that apparently it's only, you can use strings only in case of a couple of these capabilities, and if you have any other capability, and even if you use like it with these capabilities, it's going to be a predefined type of parameters. The first one has to be a number, second has to be a string, and the third one has to be a string. Which means you cannot use strings unless... Yeah, you cannot use strings unless you actually create a program for these things. So we have, yeah, we have number string is something, number string string is something, and normally you have numbers. And if you have numbers, then... Is it only numbers? What is this nc parm analyze? Can I actually have strings here as well? Okay, it's not defined here, maybe it's defined here. Wait, why is it not defined in the file? Like, it has a underscore in the name, it should be a local function. I'm guessing that's not the case. So, yeah. Let me make it a little bit more readable, maybe. Sorry. Let's do clear. I'm kind of lost, like, what am I looking at even? Okay, now it's better. So we have, I need a .c file, I guess. It's used here, it's used here. It's called here, but where is it defined? It's defined in this file. Why is it defined in that file? Or in this file? That's so weird. Oh, I mean, this file doesn't have an extension, that's why I say it's weird. Okay, let's take a look what's here. A file without an extension, hello. And we are looking for this parm analyze, and we have it here. And it returns, oh, it just returns a null pointer. Okay, thank you. I don't believe this is what I wanted to see. Does it mean that it only works sometimes? Then we have this ln courses. Oh, I'm guessing it like really depends on the implementation, which is configured. Yeah, this one also doesn't have it. Okay, let's do dash after 10 lines. And no, that's not what I wanted to do. Console. Here, dash A10. Show me 10 lines after each. And let's do less. Okay, so this one is boring. This one is boring. And this one has an actual implementation. So this is what we care about, I guess. So let's open this file. Okay, let's look for this. Here, why do we have it opened? Okay. We don't need this one, we don't need this one, we just need this one. What does it do? Analyze the string to see how many parameters we need from the variable args list and what their types are. We will only accept string parameters if they appear as %L, that was the length I think, or %S. Format following an explicit parameter reference. Oh, okay, so this is how you have to do it. So that means I cannot, or maybe it doesn't. Let's see, this is kind of funny, right? But I think we know what to do. So here, this doesn't work because I have to pass the string as a parameter. So let's do this. Now I should pass the string as a parameter and it should be displayed back. And if so, we can like, let's do it. So what we have to do is we have to compile it. You know what, let me just create a new console maybe. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger, and we do tick, then ASDF, because, yeah, my naming is terrible, I apologize. And if it works, we set the term to Genvale's experiment. And then we call tpat, was it U0, I think, and now we need to pass an actual, like, ASDF, an actual string. Okay, unknown, what capability ASDF? Well, yes, because I have to do this. No, wait, what? Why are you complaining? It's U1, and I have a parameter, 1, which accepts a string. Yeah. So then I give it this, and it complains and it doesn't work. And if I give it, like, some parameter, it doesn't work either. Maybe my TPAT isn't compiled with the right thing and it actually doesn't work correctly. But this seems good, right? Okay, let's read it to the end. All our parameters are numbers. Okay. Number counts coarsely the number of pops we see in the string, and pop count shows the highest parameter number in the string. We would like to simply use the latter count, but if we are reading term cap strings, there may be cases that we cannot see the explicit parameter number. Okay, so one question would be, when I'm running my tpat, does it actually call this function even? How do we check that? GDB tpat. And do I have symbols? I can download symbols. Okay, enable, yes, whatever. Continue without paging, thank you. It couldn't download the symbols. Because I have an old, wow, really old Pawn Tools here, probably. And really old GDB as well, probably. I probably need to update this system. Okay, whatever. Can I actually like do a breakpoint on this? Hey, I can do a breakpoint on this. This is good. So if I can do a breakpoint on this, can I set the environment variable? How do you set an environment variable here? Set environ and the environment, okay. Term to Genvale's experiment, okay. And now we can run it with parameters u1 and a string, like some value. Okay, and it did break in this function, which is good. So if it broke on this function, we can check the implementation of this function. So do this as, and the name of this function, which, okay, no, it looks good, right? Like there's quite a lot of code actually here. Yeah, there's quite a lot of code. And it should know, yeah. Okay, this is a little bit annoying. Let's turn this off. Set height 0. This is good. So the question is like, how does this function actually work? When it returns something, it returns where are the strings, so which parameter is which and which parameter is which. Scroll this a little bit down. And let's take a look. What's in the string? So print whatever is in the string. What would that be? RDI or RSI? RDI, I think. RSI? Yeah, RSI. Okay. So our string is passed here. Now the other questions would be like, what is in the other arguments? Do I have actually the names here? No, I do not have the names. It's not a bit annoying. What is the calling convention on Linux? Okay, you can see I didn't do reverse engineering for a long time because I don't remember what's the calling convention on Linux in 64-bit. So I think that's like RCX, RDX, but wiki calling convention. I got it. Yeah, x86 sounds good. And there's a table somewhere here which I'm looking for. Yeah, there we go. So 64-bit, and I said system V, this is the ABI which is being used, RDX, RCX, yeah. So I think I got the order wrong, but I was like spot on apart from that. So what is the register RDX and RCX in this order, correct? RDX, RCX, yeah. We have these values, which is cool. So now let's allow this function to finish, to run until the end of the function. And now let's see, first of all, what is under RCX. So assuming RCX is actually a pointer to an integer, I want to know what is there. So I want to dereference the pointer. What? Wait, the RCX value probably changed, so I have to actually use this address. 1. Okay, so it found one string, I'm guessing. Or rather, there's one parameter, because it's a population count for parameters, so I'm guessing there's one parameter. Okay, and now we have this like p is string, parameter is string. How is it exactly used? So it first zeroes it, and it actually, so this is an array of pointers of 9. Okay, an array of 9 pointers, I'm guessing. And then what does it do? Okay, it sets it to some value. So this does some kind of pre-compilation. Is it like the only place it actually uses it? It sets it to some dummy value? What's the dummy value? No, like seriously, what's going on? Am I missing something? Or is it not highlighting what I wanted to see? Okay, let's take a look again. It highlights it here and here. Okay, is there any pointer set to this? No. So if it's L or S, and last pop is more than 0, then whatever, do set it to dummy. Okay, I can understand that. What is dummy? Oh, dummy is an... So it's going to be either like a pointer to an empty string for strings, or it's going to be a null byte, I'm guessing. This is how I'm reading it. Okay, that's fine. So let's take a look. We know that this RDX is actually pointing to, well, a character array of pointers, which means we can check for each parameter. Parameter 0 is a string. Okay, so no, it actually recognized my parameter as a string, which is good, right? It actually understands that, hey, it's actually a string. So it seems to work so far. Why does it stop working later on then? So let's detach from debugging it. Hello, I see. Some folks are happy that they could catch the stream live. Yeah, it's been a while since I've live streamed, which makes it really hard to catch me live, I guess. So happy to be here and happy that you folks joined. If you just joined, what we are doing is we are basically trying to... Well, what I'm doing is I'm learning this virtual machine, which is in Terminfo. And Terminfo is this compatibility layer between Ncursys library, basically, and a terminal. So if you want to do colors in a terminal or on Linux, and now on Windows as well, you send escape codes, but if you write a proper application, you don't want to send escape codes because like this terminal has these kind of escape codes and another terminal might have different escape codes. So you need some kind of a compatibility layer which will say, oh, this feature, like moving a cursor, for example, on this terminal you make this escape code this way, and on another terminal you make it a different way, and that's Terminfo. So what Terminfo is a database of terminal types, and we declared our own terminal type called Ginve's experiment. And the definitions of a given feature, for example, SGR, which is like setting colors and attributes. It's like, this is basically machine code, or rather not machine code, but bytecode for a VM. Like, think of it like weird brainfuck. And I'm trying to like make some kind of a CTF challenge-ish thingy, an exercise in this VM for this VM. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to learn it a little bit more, and then I'm probably going to write some kind of a compiler, so that, because I don't, like, it's really easy to write, but when you start doing a lot of it, you don't want to write it by hand. As such, we are now, we'll be switching at some point to making the compiler, and I'm going to cheat with the compiler. I'm not going to write a compiler from scratch. I'm going to do something weird and hackish. Okay, so this should actually output a string parameter. It doesn't. Let's switch to %L. %L should have been get the length of a string and put it back on the stack, and then %D is pop the value from the stack and print it out. Did I mention it's a stack machine? It is a stack machine. So, okay. But why doesn't it allow me to give this? Maybe that's a TPAT issue. Like, hey, I want to do a parameter, and I want this parameter to take a string. So, okay, TPAT writes capcode's value to standard output stream if defined. That's okay. Operands, capcode indicates a capability, which is this U1, which I'm defining. That's okay. Okay. Most parameters are numeric. Only a few terminal capabilities require string parameters. TPAT uses a table to decide which to pass as a string. Normally, TPAT uses tparm. Hey, tparm, is that a thing? Tparm. Not too bad. Sadly, no. Okay, and I'm guessing that table is what we saw in the source code, which is like, where was it? Was it here, or was it? No, it was here, right? Like this table, it mentions this table. But we know it doesn't do that. So, okay, to perform. If no parameters are given for the capability, TPAT writes the string without performing the substitution. Okay, we can observe that behavior. Well, it uses the table, but we know it actually seems to work, right? So let's go back here. We are getting this analyzed, and we are getting our parameter. We know this is set to, like, P0 is set to a string. Okay. Then it does my param, ti param 9. I have no idea what this does. It's like some kind of a function or something? Where am I? I'm here, so this is the wrong terminal. rgrep. Okay, tparm9, it's What is it? Define here. Oh, it calls NC_tparm with 9 arguments. Okay, great. What is our grep? NC_tparm. And NC_tparm apparently is... Oh, it's actually in the same file. That's good. So let's take a look here. Wait, is it in the same file? Sorry, I meant this file, of course. Internal use flavor ensures that the parameters are numbers, not strings. But I want it to be string. Okay, you know what? We can do... Oh, there's some kind of tracing we can compile. That's cool. tparm setup, copy VA list, tparm internal. And this internal, what does it do? Okay. So this is the virtual machine itself. I think we just found it. So, okay, for S, we save the text. Okay, for L, we do a push. Well, this looks good. Apparently there's some disconnect somewhere where it knows it like has parameters which are strings, but it still fails to do that. What would happen if I would do like... If I would actually have two parameters, which are strings. There might be like some weird off by one there. So let's do two parameters. Both are going to be strings. Now let's compile it and run it. Okay, ASDF, 0001. No, it really doesn't like it. So I think what we can assume is that strings are annoying and they basically don't work. And because they don't work, then we are not going to use them. Okay, what's number? We know number is an int, right? Yeah, it's an int. So we know that like every number which we give it is going to be a 32-bit integer, which is fine. And this is the whole implementation of VM, by the way. So yeah, one interesting thing which I saw, by the way, in the VM is here, that it has logical operations, okay, and then it has logical and or operations for conditionals. This is super interesting because almost no languages have this. And if you're like wait, like every language has this, right? No, actually no, because it really might behave differently. So what I want to do is I want to check how it works. Yeah, perfect. So almost no language has this. So why do I say almost no language has a logical and or operation? Let's take an example. If we have Python, right? And let's just make a function. And we give it one parameter. And then we do if a is like less than 10 and a is more than, I know you usually do it in a different way, but let's do an or and. Or a is more than 100, we do print like no. And in otherwise we do yes. Okay, and now we call it with, I don't know, 20, and it says yes, and if we call it with 5, it says no. So you could argue that, hey, there is this like logical operand here. And this is true to some extent. But this logical operand works differently than it does in this code. Because in Python, what really happens here is if you disassemble this function, you will not find an OR operand there. What you will find is you will find that this is actually extended or expanded into an if-else. Because OR works in most languages like this, that if this would be true, then this would not be evaluated, as in this code would not be run. And if, like, with an operand, which is a bitwise, like an operand which is a binary operand, you cannot normally do this because you have to evaluate first both sides, both parameters, and only then you can apply the operand. But if you evaluated it, that means that the code already has run. It's like, I guess it's like pretty basic, but we can quite easily check it. How do we check it? Let's do, for example, one is true, right? Or print ASDF. And this will print 1, which is like the value of this, this whole thing. But if we would change this to 0, this would actually get executed. If it's 1, this doesn't get executed. It's, which means, yeah, again, that this is changed into an if-else situation. So if we do import this, ASDF, we get a comparison here. And then we do a jump. So again, it's, you don't see an operation OR here or an operation AND. You would not see a logical OR or AND in Python because it actually is expanded into jumps, conditional jumps. Now, that's not the case at all here, because what they do is they actually do, well, they grab two values, evaluate them as booleans, or whatever C thinks is like, whatever C thinks is evaluated as boolean, whatever. And then it puts the value of true or false, which is 1 or 0, back onto the stack. Which means, yeah, like it actually would evaluate both sides, like grab both things from the stack, regardless of how many things you have on the stack. Or maybe regardless of how many operands you have, all of them will be evaluated. Does it change anything? Maybe. Maybe because if we are making a CTF task, right, what we can do is we can use these operands and then see if people fall into a trap actually with them. But I'm not sure we can fully do that. And a trap, I'm saying a trap because if we have, again, this code, right? If an operand behaves like it behaves in this VM, this print ASDF would always be executed. Like both sides would be evaluated and fully executed. But on the other hand, I don't think we can actually do, like, create a trap here for the CTF player because this is just like too simple of a language. And whatever is on the stack already has to be evaluated prior to being put on the stack. And if it's evaluated prior to being put on the stack, yeah, there's no trap. So it's an interesting tidbit, but I don't think we can do anything interesting here. Okay, so I'm not going to pursue trying to get strings to work further because I don't think it matters. What I think we are going to do instead, oh look, there's a question mark which does nothing, which just does a break. Why you? But that's funny. Let's test it actually. So let's change this, let's change like P0 and then do a percentage. Let's just print it out and then we do this percentage question mark and see what happens. So I can leave here. Let's give like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it seems to do nothing, which is good, and it seems to also not display this. Is it actually documented? Man terminfo percentage. No, it's not. So, oh, interesting already. Like there apparently are some features in the VM which are not documented, even if it's like a simple no operation. Okay. What do we have then? Percentage T, it's that then else, if then else. Okay, so this is the exact logic, and they have level counting, which is good. I was wondering if you could have like an if inside an if inside an if, but apparently you can. Percentage E is else, so that's good. And that's it. We also have a percentage semicolon, which does nothing, and other no operation. Oh right, because this percentage, this is actually a marker, I think. So no, these are actually used for something. They are used for... Okay, they are used for if else. So let's look for percentage T. Okay. Oh, I'm guessing you are starting with this. It does nothing on its own, but it marks that you are starting an if. Okay, so that makes sense, and this is how it ends. So it is documented. I didn't find it because because it looks for a regex and I failed to escape the question mark. That's okay. So this is fine. There maybe are no features which are not documented. Okay, M. What is M again? That's modulo division. Hey, does it mean, because this is kind of funny, right? Like it grab two values and then just divide them. Can I crush it? With, division by 0? So what do we do? We get a parameter and we put a value of 0 on the stack, and then we do a division. So that's percentage slash, and yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, so that's 0, and now let's do 0. And it does not crash. Why do you not crash? So we put parameter, we put 0, and it doesn't crash. Hey, what's up? Okay, if it doesn't crash, let's do strace. I think I have to do it here. strace trace signal. Weird. What am I missing? It should crash. It grabs the values, and both of them are x and y are integers, right? If they are floats, then yeah, that's a different story. Floats won't crash, but no, they are integers. And then we do... Oh, wait, here's a check, actually. sorry, I missed that. Where is the check? Yeah, if y is... Okay, but that means they still missed the other case. The other case is... OX800... This one, this value, which is a negative value, by the way. So first of all, let's see if this value... If I can pass it here. So let's do... You know what, let's just do a division. Two parameters, so P1, P2, and we do a division. And then we display the result. So let's compile it. And let's do, I don't know, 2 by 4. That's a 0, 4 by 2. Okay, that's a 2. Let's do this. Okay, and now let's do... So this is 2, which means I give the larger number here, and this is going to be a negative number, of course, and here I do -1. And it doesn't like it because it says it's an invalid option. Why is it an invalid option? It's not an invalid option. So what does this tell me? It tells me that it doesn't like minuses. If it doesn't... Can I just do like tpat --? Yeah, and it crashed. Okay, so but this works. I was like, yeah, like, do I understand even this code? I do understand the code, I know it crashes. Is this a security vulnerability? Not at all. It's not an issue. Hey Foxtrot, by the way. Not an issue at all, but Yeah, they checked one case, and as usual, they didn't check the other. That's fine, that's fine. So, divisions, then I have L brace. What is an L brace? And S quote. Okay, so S quote apparently does a CP, DPS, uchar. What's S quote? I'm sorry. Oh, look, that's funny. There are like 2 implementations? No, because it's analyzing on the first one. Okay, I need to rgrep actually for it. S quote is just a quote, and L brace, I'm guessing, is the left brace, curly brace. Yeah. Okay, so it's a single quote and a curly brace. Okay, so wait, does this mean I can do... I haven't checked it, but let's check it. Percentage ASDF, percentage S. Let's run it. Now, this is interesting. What's going on here? No. What? Okay. No, it did something weird. Because what it did display, it displayed this, but it did not display this. So, man, Terminfo. Okay, no, that's just like one character. So I can give it... Oh yeah, and we did play with this actually, and this was like the ASCII code of a given parameter. So this wasn't interesting and... well, too interesting. Yeah, I should have read it. This is fine. Then L brace, this is okay. We can do some like funny number obfuscation here, because this obviously overflows. It's an integer overflow. So we could do... It does check is digit. That's annoying, but okay. But we can still like do a really large number, which will actually be just truncated to 32-bit integer. G is... what does G do? Oh, but this is set a variable. And okay, it in a dynamic variable. Why doesn't it in its static variables? Just in its dynamic. Apparently, I'm guessing this means that the static variables always exist and the dynamic variables might not exist. What happens if we use like a get? So this is get, right? This isn't setting. Yeah, this is getting. So it does initialize the dynamic variable before getting it. What does init_vars do? It checks if a variable is used, and it sets it to true, and it sets it to 0. And what's this? What is this mem set there? Oh, this is interesting. Because maybe these variables can have strings. Okay, story for another day. Let's continue with where was I even here? So this is getting the variable. It just pushes on the stack the value of a variable, which is fine. Oh, it initializes the whole table if it's not initialized. I'm guessing this is how I should read it. Put on the stack, get a value, put it in static or dynamic variables. This is fine. And okay, is upper, it is lower. So it has to be an uppercase or it has to be a lowercase. I cannot do like some funny memory overwriting with it. P is for, what is P? Again, sorry. Oh, but that's parameter. Okay, 0. What's P0? Can I have parameter 0? What does it mean, a parameter 0? What's a P0? What does it allow me to? Oh, because we subtract 1. Can we do anything funny here? It has to be more than... I'm guessing I is an integer, right? It is an integer. Okay, so I don't think we can do anything funny here. Where is this It's ending here, okay. So if it's a string, it does a string push. So there are apparently string pushes here. Yeah, we just don't have access to them. String pop. I'm really curious what does this, how is this implemented? Okay. spop stack overflow. Underflow, okay. Yeah, this is what happens if we do an overflow. If we do... where does it put it? tparm error. Okay, so it might not put it anywhere. And we know you. Oh, you apparently is only in some spaces. Why? What is percentage U? Percentage U. It's not here. It's not on the documentation. Did I fail again with my search? Am I looking even in the right place? Yes, I am looking in the right place. Okay, so if this is defined, experimental xterm 1005, we get a target and it converts the source, which is an unsigned integer. Oh, so I'm guessing like this U is like grab a value and convert it into, and that's a Unicode code point, and you convert it into a UTF-8 sequence. And then we put it, where do we put it? We output it. Save character is like outputted immediately. Okay, so ABC says on the chat, if I read this confusing code correctly, you need 4 or more parameters, so that guess tparm type returns other. Okay, let's test it. I'm curious. Let's do... Okay, let's do 4 string parameters in that case. P2, P3, P4. Let's do one more. Here I'm missing a percentage sign. Am I missing any URLs? No. Okay, let's do this and let's give it, let's run it and let's give it 4 or 5 parameters actually. So A, S, D, F, G. The annoying tpat is actually like treating these as capabilities, but these are not capabilities. Can I somehow tell tpat, hey, this is like a, no, it should be like cap code, right? And then a parameter. But it doesn't behave like that. It grabs like, it thinks like I'm giving it another cap code. Okay, so yeah, I might be failing something here, but I don't think like we need strings anyway. So I don't care that much about it. Save number, and this is, yeah, this is just a format string, I'm guessing. What is this? Okay, what's going on here? Okay, I need to remember that I should not do vulnerability research on stream, because so I'm not going to look there. Because it would be a weird kind of a live stream disclosure. Is that like new kind of, you know, disclosure in a vulnerability disclosure debate? It's live stream disclosure, where I would accidentally find that vulnerability and point it out on a live stream. So I shouldn't look into code too much, because that would be weird. Okay, if it's, yeah, this is just output a percentage. The interesting thing is I can actually tell it how to format the... So if I do like percentage, let's go here. And if I do a percentage D, for example, there's quite a lot of formatting here. Hey, look, like S is like both here and here actually mentioned. I wonder why they mentioned it twice, but whatever. Okay. So I'm not sure if guess tparm type is even called. This is the function which you're mentioning, right? Yeah, and so we would get result other here. Let's go here. Where does it even call that guess? I don't think it fallbacks to string, or like maybe look for other. X names. Okay, if capability is an extended one, analyze the string. So we would have to make an extended capability. So to make an extended capability, I just have to use a name which is actually different. So let's use ginveil. I'm pretty sure that's not in the standard table. And let's call it again, that as ginveil. Okay, so it didn't create an extended. I think I need to do -x for extended capabilities. Yeah, dash lowercase x for extended. And then it tpat. Does tpat also require -x? No, it still fails. It still doesn't work correctly. Kind of weird. Okay, but I don't need extended capabilities, I think. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I'm pretty sure like there's an easy answer to the string problem. It's just that we don't really know it. One thing we can do, I guess, is we can do argrep %s and look for %s in user share Terminfo. And okay, so there are like some terminals which actually do use it. Does Xterm use it? I don't know if Xterm uses it because the order here is a little bit weird. Sort it, please. Oh, it is sorted. Okay. So Xterm doesn't use it, I think. Let's take a look info CMP at tmax. Okay, I'm gonna look at tmax. And let's look at like where exactly does it use %s. Hey, it said it's using it. That's not great. Okay, so it probably found it like in some other place. That's a little bit sad. I think what we have to do is we have to do like this. Find user share terminfo. Okay, type file. And these are all the files. Now for I in these files, I think you used like, did you use it like did you do it like this? I don't remember. We have to figure it out. Do echo -i done. No, this is not how you have done that. Did you do it with this? Okay, now it works. Just to be sure it works. Yeah, it works good. So we can do info base name. Do we have base name? We have. That's slow. Okay, but we have base name. There's like a better way probably to do it, but never mind. And we do info CMP. Okay, so it actually analyzes all terminals, and now we are going to grab %s. Okay, there are some terminals which actually have %s. Now, how do we actually figure out which terminal is that? We have to print out the name, I'm guessing. So echo I, let's do, wait. Let's do this, and then, okay, that's good. Good enough. Here, for example, iris ANSI has %s for PF key. So let's see if this works, this PF key for iris ANSI. So we do man tpat, was it -t? Yeah, tpat -t. Iris ANSI, then PF key was it? PF key, and this is the second parameter. Yeah, the second parameter. Okay, so first one is a digit, rather a decimal, and second is a string. So we do pf key, and then we do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we do ASDF, and we do hex dump -c. Yeah, see, it works. It actually outputted ASDF in the proper place. So this code doesn't really differ from what we are trying. So I'm going to actually copy this definition, not without pf key maybe, or maybe with pf key. Let's copy it to our... Do I have pf key here? No, we don't. That's okay. So I'm going to create pf key anew, and I'm going to also do this, like use the exact same definition, exact same program as u2 maybe. Do I have u2 defined? No, I don't. I don't think I have u2 defined. No. So okay. So let's see if this is like really only works with these like predefined things, predefined capabilities things. Yeah. Okay. So we don't have to do -x, I think. We do this pf key 1, 2, 3, 4 ASDF, and we do hex dump -c, and it worked. And now let's switch this to u2, and it doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, apparently the string capabilities work only with this predefined table, which we have already found. Where was it? Here, right? Like this table, only with these. That's why it works with pfk. It is in this table. It does not work with, and it does not work with other custom ones. We could define like just pf key and make a challenge there, why not? But I don't think I want to do that. Okay, good. So at least we have this figured out. So now the question is, how do we make a compiler for this? Because I really don't want to write a CrzaQ in this weird language. I could, but yeah, no. So what I think we want to do is we want to use Python, right? Let's call it weird compiler. Weird is a good name. Weird. Yeah, this is how we spell it. Okay, so, but I want to do it in a weird way because it's going to be a weird compiler. So what I want to do is I want to write the code in Python, and then I want to Python to compile it. And then I want to look at the code which Python created, the bytecode, because Python is also a stack machine. Hey, this is Terminfo is stack machine, this is Python is also stack machine, so why, like, this can be compatible to some extent. If I use only like selected features of Python, of course, not all of them will be possible. So what I need to check is Python docs this. Is there like a better way to access the disassembly than... Oh, bytecode, what is this? Bytecode API allows pieces of Python code to be written in bytecode object that provides easy access to details of compiled code. Very nice. This is kind of what I want, right? Okay, yeah, this is exactly what I want. Very nice. Perfect. Let's do. Import, and we this, right? Now this is going to be the function which I'm going to compile, and the function is going to be called, I don't know, like Terminfo hello world, and it can take some parameters, I guess, but I guess initially we are just going to go with one parameter. And what we want to do with this function is we want to, I don't know, we pass a parameter, let's say it's a number. So we want to, we can use variables, right? So we want to create a variable called a, and in this a we want to put p1 there. And we want to multiply this p1 by 3, and we want to add 17 or like 10, because why not? And then we want to actually output it. So let's, how do we output it? Let's just do something like this. For now, just for now, output D, D for decimal, and we give it A as like what we want to output. Okay, and I want to compile this code, so we do whatever was in that documentation. Here, let's just copy it. Okay, terminfo hello world. There we go, and we will print it immediately. That's good. So Python weird py. Okay, and I'm getting all the opcodes. I need the parameters as well. How do I get access to the parameters? So its instruction, it has what's the definition of this? Like, here we go, this instruction. So we have opcode, we have opname, opcode, base for, okay. Then we have argument, and okay, so let's see, let's do this, and let's do instr arc. Okay, let's run it. Does it has resolved? I'd prefer to have resolved argument. Okay, argval. Yeah, perfect. Now we have the names like P1, out D, A. Perfect. Great, great, great. So now what I need to do. Oh, this binary of this is annoying a little bit. I don't want to. Is this like base opname is going to be better here? I wanted to tell me like this is a multiplication. Oh, it does not have an attribute like that. Well, it says in the documentation that it does. Position, cache info. Is jump target. Wow, this is cool. Okay, opcode collection. We can use a table, but I wanted to avoid that if possible. This is because like binary operation, like this binary op, has like it takes an operand, and the operand can be, for example, subtract. But what is it? What is the table for this in the documentation? Like what operand is what? Can I, by the way, do, let's just do this. Python, rather this, terminfo, hello world, good. Yeah, it does tell me. So the module knows that this is a multiplication operation, but it doesn't tell me that. Why don't you tell me that? Human readable name for base operation if operation is specialized. Argument oh, that's that op-arc might be maybe this one. So we change this to opname here, and we do okay. And let's check it now. Okay, good. We have it here. Okay, so I think we have everything we need. Now, operations are going to, rather like opcodes are going to, we are going to have like 3 different types. One is like resume, we are just going to ignore it. Then we have load fast, which we will actually do something with. Load cons is something we'll also do with. Like the same thing actually. And then binary op is also something we'll do with. And store is also something we are going to use. Okay, everything looks pretty good. I don't think we have a, do we have a pop operation? I don't think we have a pop operation. But that's not a problem. I think we can ignore it as well. why is it popping? Oh, because we are calling a function here, and well, this function doesn't exist, of course. We just want to emit something there. We are not going to call this function, right? We are just going to translate it into this weird language. So, perfect. Let's do it like this. Like, if, let's make a table for ignored op names. And the first one we are going to ignore, obviously, is resume. Let's put it here, maybe. No, you're not helping. There we go. Okay. So we go with resume, it's going to be ignored. Then we have the ones which we support, and then we have ones which we don't support, and we will not support because the language we are compiling to doesn't have a given capability. So if instruction opname is in ignore opnames, then we continue. We don't do anything with this instruction. Otherwise, if the instruction is one of the supported ones, so if, for example, opname is, and we support what? Load fast. Then we do something with it, and then at the very end we'll have some else where we just don't support something and we can raise an exception there. Or maybe we do sysexit, I think. Sysexit unsupported instruction, and we give it the name of the instruction. Okay, good. So can we make it a little bit like this? Perfect. So we can, I guess, put it here with print so that we actually know what we are doing. Now, are we going to immediately output the code? I think we can immediately output the code, because why not? So here, now let's leave it. Let's maybe put like 3 as a separator, like 3 exclamation marks. Okay, so load fast. What does load fast do? It takes a local variable, or like it can be a local variable, or it can be a parameter, which is also a local variable. But when we compile it, we actually have to figure out what is it. So if, you know what, let's do it like this. Argval is equal to instruction argval, so I don't write too much, and maybe val and rep. I'm overshadowing the repr function, but that's okay. I'm not going to use it anywhere. Anyway, good. So now, if the value is in, like, rather, let's do it like this. If length strlen, that's okay. I didn't want to do it, but I have to. Strings. Python import strings. Oh, it's string, right? String alpha. Alphabet. Okay, I know it's up. ASCII upper. Dear string. Okay, ASCII uppercase. Okay, I need letters, all letters. So how do we do that? ASCII letters. Okay, so string.ASCII letters. Okay, cool. So string. Okay, good. So if value, then like name of a variable, is in string ASCII letters, then we know this is we are getting, or pushing on the stack in this case, a dynamic or a static variable. So in what we want to do actually is we want to output this. Okay, let's just make an output maybe function, and then we can decide what to do with it. Output s, and it's going to initially do this as the out write s. There we go. We don't even have to flash it, I think. So we output here %g, this is get, and then the letter. Else, if, elif, right? Val starts with p, and length of val is 2, and digits, string digits, and val of 1, sorry, is in string digits. Then we know this is a parameter. So what we output is we just output f and the value, sorry, percentage and the value. Like for example p1. For example p1. But it's a little bit even worse because we cannot use p0 here, right? So because we cannot use p0, I actually have to do it like this, I think. Yeah, I don't care about this being fast, so this is fine. I'm just going to leave it like this. Else, in another case, like we are doing something we shouldn't. We are using a variable name, which we shouldn't be doing. Now, we could do here as Commodore in Commodore Basic was doing. So, if I remember correctly, in Commodore Basic, you could have a variable name like ASDF, but what it would actually do is it would only use like the first 2 letters of a name, and everything else was basically like a comment. So ASDF and ASXYZ, these were like the same variables because the first 2 letters were identical. And we could kind of do the same thing here, as in actually use only the first letter here, but we could allow in the code, when I'm writing the code here, I could allow myself to use all like more letters, which would act as a comment. But that might be confusing, especially like that P1 starts to be ambiguous. Because P1, is 1 a comment, or is it, am I referring to the parameters? So let's maybe not go that way yet, but I might add it later as a feature. What I'm going to say here is like incorrect variable name. And we have to do it a val here, we have to give it a val. Okay, so here I'm guessing like I should also make an alias here. Opname is instruction opname, so I don't write it like so many times. Okay, so this is load fast. Now, what is the next one? Load const. Okay, this is going to be an easy one as well. So then we have load const. Elif. We have load const. Well, it obviously has to be an integer, this value, right? So we kind of have to assert that the value, but let's do an if. If type of value is int, everything is fine, and what we output is we output yeah, this is going to be a little bit funny because we have to output like a curly brace, then the value, and then a curly brace again. We could do a check, also a range check here, but let's not. Incorrect variable type, and we give it incorrect constant type, and we just output value. So this is fine. Then we have the binary operation. And elif opname is a binary operation. Then we have we need to do a translation, I think. So okay, so a translation table is going to be really, really simple. We are translating almost everything to everything. Okay, you know what? It's like this. If it's rep, right? Like rep is equal to the only thing which is going to be weird is going to be modulo. Then rep is, we just change it to m. And then if rep, I don't like this a little bit. Let's maybe make op and put it, set it to rep, and here we are going to check op and override op. Okay, now I'm more happy. If op in, and what are the supported operations? Not many of them. This, and m. Then what we output is pretty easy. Output percentage and the op. Else, yeah, we don't support the operation. Operation up. Okay, this is fine. Now we have another load const and load op, and this is fine. Then we have store fast. We don't have store fast support. When there will be a next SDEV? Yeah, I should have expected that question. I have not expected it. But yeah, probably after or before ray tracing. Store fast. What do we do with store fast? We just do %p. So this is like really similar, I think, to this. So I'm going to copy this code. And obviously there's no parameter. I cannot set a parameter. This was not possible. Incorrect variable name. Store. And here, let's do load, so we actually know which one is which. And it's just like capital P. Then we have load global, and this is where things are a little bit funny, because we are like, this is like just telling me that the next operation is going to be %d. But I don't like the order in which this is done. So load global is just going to be like, there's going to be a set of functions which are going to be used the moment call happens. As such, what I need to do is like next call. I'm going to have a variable like next call, and I'm going to set it to none. Then if load const, didn't I do a load const? Yeah, I did. So I'm hijacking this one to load global. And what is what, by the way? What is this null plus? Can I scroll a little bit? Okay, so out d, that's in the value. This is good. So what are the correct functions which I support? Let's do some function table. There aren't going to be that many function tables. Function entries in the function table is just do out d here. So if val not in allowed function tables, then we do s6 exit incorrect like unknown function, and the function is going to be val. This is good. Otherwise, we do we set the next call to the value, and we ignore the rest of it. Then it's going to put the variable on the stack, which is good, and then it runs a call. So the moment it runs a call, we check like if next call is none, then we do like a call with unknown function. No idea. And then it depends like what the function actually is. We are going to support some here. So one is if next call is %d, sorry, out d, we emit %d, that's it. So output %d. Else it's like an unknown function. Like this should never happen actually. So assert false, this should never happen. Defensive coding. Okay, then we have pop top and return. We don't care about these ones. We can like, I don't think we care about pop top. Do we care about pop top? We might care about it at some point. How do we do pop top even in this? I don't know how we do pop top. We have to figure it out later. So for now, I'm going to ignore pop top and I'm going to ignore return because we don't care about return at all. Okay, so this simple program should be compilable. So let's try to compile it and see what happens. Okay, what? Oh, right, because a typo, because why not? Okay. Okay, so it seems to work. One thing I have to do is I have to comment this one out. And it, let's see if it works. So it compiled something, right? It compiled this Python function which I created into this virtual machine. It kind of looks good. 10 plus PAGAD. It looks good to me. So let's change here. I don't think we care about this anymore. I don't think we care about this either. Let's just put it here. Okay, and let's run it. Okay, let's do it again. I don't think you see everything here, so let's do like it like this. Okay, is it U2 or is it U1? It's U1. And I need to give it a value, so I'm going to give it, what, 5, for example. And it says 25, so let's calculate. We have 5 times 3 plus 10, yeah, that's 25. So, yeah, the compiler works, at least to some extent. I see there are like some questions. Okay, so I see KrzaQ actually caught my mistake, my typo, so well done. I actually had to have it pointed out by the compiler to find it. There's a question, are we translating Python bytecode to Terminfo VM? Yeah. Basically, yes, I'm cheating because I don't want to write my own compiler. Python does compilation. Python is like, CPython is a stack machine. So it already does this, what I needed to do. I just have to translate the opcodes. Obviously, I'm not going to use all the opcodes, or rather, like be able to translate all the opcodes from Python. Like, no chance. But the basic ones which I need, I think I can translate. So I do think we are going to stop here for today. And I'm probably, am I here tomorrow? I might be live streaming tomorrow as well. So then I will add the rest of the features which I want to have, which is going to be if else. And I'm going to like change this out D, I guess, to a little bit more robust print function. And I think that's it. So yeah, so thank you for like suffering with me in like this exploration of the Terminfo VM. And if I guess there are no other questions, oh, there's actually one more question. So the question is, okay, the question was like, when exactly will be the OS dev? Yeah, I don't know. There are no plans, right? Like at this point. The question about what I'm doing is, so the idea is that people in the CTF will need to reverse the VM program. Correct. What people will get is they will get like this, like a super long program. Imagine like 1000 bytes or maybe a little bit longer. Okay, I guess that's not super long, that's just like longish. But yeah, and they will have to reverse engineer this. What I think, like for a simple program, what they will do is they will just analyze it by hand. It's not that hard. For a little bit more complex KrzaQ, I think you needed a compiler for this. Did you figure out how to operate on strings in the Terminfo VM? Partially. So it works, what we found today is that it works with only some selected, where is it? Yeah, only with these capabilities. So if I create a PF key capability, string operations work. And if I change it to like U1 or U2 or U3 or whatnot, yeah, they stop working. Apparently there is some code which should correctly detect that I want to use string operations. But and this code is run even for like U1 and U2, like these user capabilities. But we couldn't get it to work with strings. Like just analyzing this code, the rest of the code would solve the problem, like, or rather explain the problem. Why does it not work? Maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe it's just like not possible and it will not work. But yeah, we don't really care. I don't really care because I don't need it. It would be nice to have it, but there aren't that many operations on strings anyway. Like, for example, I cannot access an individual character and get its value from a string, which I would need if, for example, I would make a challenge where you have to write the flag in an argument, right? Then, yeah, like I would have to be able to access every character and get its ASCII code or Unicode, code point, whatever, and then do operations on that. But I cannot do that. Like, the VM just doesn't have any opcodes to do that. As such, yeah, well, strings are not really needed anyway. That's fine. That's okay. Where are my ligatures at? I turned off my ligatures. I disabled them for live streaming because I was running some training for beginner programmers and my ligatures in my font were confusing people really hard. And they were like asking, okay, how do I get this character, which is apparently needed in programming, from my keyboard, right? And they actually found, the proper Unicode character for that ligature, and it wasn't compiling. So yeah, it was really, really confusing for people, so I disabled it for live streaming. Does CPython use stack and heap? Okay, so it's like this. The actual Python virtual machine is like, think CPython bytecode. It only has a stack, technically. It can create objects, and the objects exist somewhere. It's unknown where they exist. Obviously, they exist on the heap. And even the stack, anything which is in the VM on the stack, but also is on the heap, mostly. So it doesn't, like the Python VM does not use the actual low-level stack like a C program does. Yeah, now this being said, obviously the implementation is in C, which means it uses the stack and the heap as well. But all the Python objects are on the heap. Anyway, it's just like Python doesn't really define where the object exists, but it is on the heap. Cool. Okay, folks, so thank you very much for being here with me, and we will continue with this likely tomorrow. So what I will want to do tomorrow is I will want to get my compiler hack to be fully featured. Well, this actually VM doesn't have that many features, so this is going to be easy. And then I want to write like a really simple KrzaQ and figure out how to make a CTF challenge out of it on livestream. And then I'll put it on hackarcana.com. And then off stream, I'm going to write another KrzaQ, which is going to be a little bit more complicated, and I'm going to put that on hackarcana as well. Thank you, folks, in that case, and I wish you a pleasant rest of the evening. So that's it. Bye-bye. Cheers. I'm pretending the stream is frozen. Okay, now I'm clicking.